Hello and welcome to a tutorial from the Quilting Bee in Spokane, Washington. What we're going to go over today is, so you've got your new M8 or your new 9480 Janome, which is ASR capable, but how do I actually get it set up for the accurate stitch regulator? That's what we'll be going over. We're going to start by putting the foot on. It is a full shank foot, so it has its own screw port here, and then it has a swappable toe. The toe is really easy to swap. You just pull downward, kind of at an angle, like a lever, and that'll pop off. And then if you want to put another one of the toes on, you kind of reverse that process. You slide it into the back and then pop it up. So very easy to swap those toes. Like I said, it's got its own screw holder, and so we're going to take the entire shank off and then slip that little opening over. And I usually have to back the screw quite far out. It comes and it hooks around this shaft. It comes around like this. And so if you have to, you might have to, again, back that screw out, really get it forward until you feel it sort of hook around to the front. Then we'll tighten that screw down. And with Janomes, always give it an extra tighten with a screwdriver on that screw, because they are known to loosen over time if you don't get it a little bit past your finger tight. Even when you've got really strong grip like me, it will loosen unless I do an extra turn with the screwdriver. Which I don't have. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. So now, on the back, you're going to take my word for this, but on the back of the machine, there's just one opening. Take it back. It's covered by a door. You have to find a little door on the back of the machine, and then there is an opening that exactly matches this port. It's even blue. It's color-coded, and I plug that in. All right, so that was step one, was getting the foot on and plugging the foot in. Now we actually have to get to the mode where the machine is going to be ready to use the ASR. Right now, we're on the standard screen that the machine wakes up on, which is the straight stitch. First thing we do is, instead of being on utility section, which is where we are, we're going to go over to the sewing applications, which is denoted by a t-shirt. Within here, we've got sewing techniques, and then two other categories up top. I want quilting techniques. Then I've got a variety of choices. You'll be able to use the ASR within the free motion and the ruler work tab. We'll go to free motion because that's the foot I have on. I don't have the ruler toe on there right now. And then within this section, we've got different categories of straight and zigzag stitch for the different types of free motion feet there are. There's hopping feet and there's hovering feet. It defaults to the hopping foot, which is what it's showing. So we're going to skip straight stitch 1, skip 2, skip zigzag 1. We're going to straight stitch 3. And it says, please make sure that you've got the right foot holder attached. And I know I'm in the right section because it shows me my hovering feet, which are the QO and the QC feet. And finally, I am going to say, instead of using those feet, I want to use my ASR. Now, one common hazard, tripping hazard, that we've encountered is if you have not plugged in your foot yet, it will not let you access that ASR. So make sure that you do have that foot plugged in. Then the ASR capability is available. And finally, again, this is where people are getting hung up. You do have to engage it. You have to turn it on. Yellow is engaged. And so now that I've tapped ASR, it's yellow. It's ready to regulate. And I will prove it. Quilt. We'll get it off one stitch stop. Go. Oh, fair enough. And now sure enough, what we're gonna see is when I move faster, the needle moves faster. Now, when you go over speed, when you're moving too fast for the needle to be able to keep up with you, it does a beep noise, and it's very soft, to be frank. It's coming from somewhere around here. One thing that I've realized is that the max speed at which it says, oh, you're too fast, is actually affected by the speed control, which I would not have expected. And so if you want the maximum possible speed out of your machine, you have to scooch the speed control all the way over. It's still going to speed up and slow down as you move, but it will allow you to move faster, and it will then be able to make the needle go faster. And so you won't be constantly hearing that overspeed beep. Let me see if I can show it, and maybe you can hear it. Hear that? So when I'm on the slowest speed, it immediately says, you know, you're going too fast for me. And it won't do that if I'm all the way up. Okay, and then when you're done using your ASR, you know, we're just kind of gonna undo what we did. We're gonna unselect ASR. I go right back to, oh, it says raise my needle, fair enough. Right back to utility stitch, unplug, put the regular foot back on, and we're ready to go. As far as keeping your ASR in good condition, that lens, you know, will get fluffy and linty, so keep it clean. And then, you know, it does have circuitry inside this, so you're just like your machine, you're going to want to keep it in a temperature controlled environment. And, you know, usually I say make sure you use these things every now and then, just like cars. That ASR, I imagine that long term, if you use it every now and then, it's going to last longer than if it just sits in its box for 10 years. So I hope you learned a little bit about the ASR with this tutorial, and we look forward to seeing you on our next video.